All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible transformations in the entire natural world. We're talking about the journey a person takes in just their first 2 years of life. It is an absolutely explosive period of growth that really sets the stage for everything that comes after. So that brings us to the big question, right? How in the world does a tiny, seemingly helpless newborn, who can't even lift their own head, turn into a walking, climbing, exploring toddler? Let's unpack this incredible 24-month miracle. To really appreciate just how far they come, we have to look at the starting line. What are we actually working with when a baby is first born? What's their physical blueprint look like? Well, the truth is, a newborn is basically a bundle of pure potential. Their head is so big and heavy compared to their body that they have almost zero control over it, and their movements, they aren't really on purpose yet. They're mostly just these automatic, built-in reflexes. This is our baseline. This is square one for what's about to be an unbelievable race of development. Okay, so the first and most obvious change is just pure, raw physical growth. I mean, the speed at which they grow in these first 2 years is faster than any other time in their entire life, and the numbers behind it are genuinely staggering. Let's just talk about height for a second. For pretty much the entire first year, an infant grows about 1 inch every single month. Can you even imagine growing that fast? It's just a relentless upward climb. And it is not just about getting taller. By their very first birthday, most babies have nearly tripled their birth weight. And this isn't just extra chub. This is the fuel, the raw material for everything else that's happening. This rapid growth is what supports all the other development going on at the same time. And get this, by the time they turn 2, a child is already about half of their final adult height. So here's the key takeaway. All this explosive growth you can see on the outside, it's really just the tip of the iceberg for an even more dramatic transformation happening on the inside. And that, of course, brings us to the command center, the brain. While the body is busy getting bigger, the brain is going through a massive systems upgrade. It's building all the complex wiring it needs to control this new, bigger, more capable machine. I mean, the scale of this brain growth is just mind-boggling. At birth, a baby's brain makes up about a quarter of its total body weight. But by age 2, it's a massive 75%. This is so much more than just growth. It's a complete rewiring of the entire operating system. And the brain isn't just getting bigger, it's getting organized. The two halves, or hemispheres, start to specialize. It's a process called lateralization. So the left side starts to handle things like logic and language, while the right side takes on more of the creative and emotional stuff. The brain is literally dividing and conquering to become way more efficient. Now, the basic building block for all this is the neuron, the nerve cell. And here's the wild part. A baby is born with pretty much all the neurons they'll ever have, about 100 billion of them. So the real development, the magic, isn't in adding more cells, but in how those cells connect and talk to each other. A huge part of this is a process called myelination. The easiest way to think about it is like putting that rubber insulation on an electrical wire. A fatty layer coats the connections between neurons, and that lets information travel much, much faster. The brain is basically upgrading its own processing speed in real time. But at the same time, the brain is also making itself more efficient by, well, cleaning house. It's a process called synaptic pruning, and it's just like a gardener trimming a rosebush. The brain gets rid of the weaker, unused connections so it can strengthen the pathways that get used the most. It's a classic use it or lose it system, and it's what makes the brain so incredibly powerful. This is why a baby's environment is so important. The things they experience literally shape which connections get kept and which get pruned away. Okay, so we have all this incredible wiring and rewiring happening inside the brain. But what does that actually look like in the real world? All that work is what allows a baby to go from those simple, involuntary reflexes to actual, intentional, coordinated movement. See, a newborn starts out with this set of basic reflexes. You can think of them like pre-installed software. The rooting reflex, for instance, helps them turn their head to find food. The palmar grasp makes them automatically grab onto anything you put in their hand. These are the starter programs that all other motor skills will eventually be built on top of. And you can see this progression just so clearly when you look at posture. It starts with holding their head up after a few weeks, then they're sitting all on their own by 6 or 7 months, and finally, standing independently right around their first birthday. Each one of these steps is a huge milestone,
a victory of muscle and balance, all orchestrated by that rapidly developing brain. And this development also happens on a much smaller scale, too. An infant starts with that clumsy palmar grasp, just kind of grabbing things with their whole fist. But by the end of that first year, they develop the super precise pincer grip, using just their thumb and forefinger. This new skill is a total game changer for exploring their world and, let's be honest, for putting tiny things in their mouth. And it's not just about movement. Their senses are coming online in high definition. Vision, which starts out super blurry, is pretty close to an adult's by their first birthday. And by just 6 months old, an infant can pinpoint exactly where a sound is coming from. They are literally learning to see and hear the world with more and more clarity every day. So there you have it, from a helpless newborn to a walking, running, exploring little toddler, all in just 24 months. This physical journey is the platform for all the cognitive and social leaps that follow. So as we wrap this up, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What part of this incredible transformation do you find the most amazing?